So let's try it for a question 2 here. It says that the airplane is cruising at an altitude of 10,000 feet. And here's the big word, initially. What initially tells me, let me change color so it jumps out a little bit. Initially tells me that this is our B value. The intercept in the real world is oftentimes a starting point or an initial value. So that 10,000 is what I'm going to be adding or subtracting to my mx. And also, this is an important word, climb. Climb means that this is going to be a positive slope rather than a negative slope. And rate, that's the word that gives away the fact that 10 is your m value. So your slope will often be a rate in the real world if you see it that way. Or if you see, do you see this word per? If you see the units have the word per in it, that's going to be your slope and not your intercept. So let's put this together. We have y stays as a y, right? M turns into the slope, that's a 10. I know it's a positive 10 because of the word climb. That will be multiplied by my x, and I'm going to be adding 10,000. And just like in the last problem, I now have to take the equation that I wrote and match it to one of the answers. This problem, they took, instead of y and x, they used a and s, and we need to figure out which one's which. And I can tell just by looking at the answers that x is going to turn into an s, and y, they're using function notation a of s, the altitude based on the seconds, right? So if I plug in a time for a second, I should get an altitude. This is not multiplication, you just leave it like that, a of s. Another thing that they did with the answers to make it a little bit harder to find, instead of saying y equals mx plus b, they kind of did y equals b plus mx. They just switched the order on us. That shouldn't throw us off too much though, because I know 10,000 is the b and 10 is the s. So A here is going to be the correct answer. That perfectly matches my equation. B is wrong because S is being multiplied by the 10,000 instead of the 10. And C and D are wrong because they have minuses instead of pluses. So it's definitely A here is the correct answer.